All right, welcome to breakout here. This is going to be redefining productivity with the latest Microsoft Office 2016 features on Windows 10. What we're going to focus on today is really a lot of the collaboration, mobility, intelligent features that have been introduced within the Microsoft Office 2016 suite that's going to enable your employees within all organizations and business groups to be able to do more and achieve more within their daily workstations. My name is John Gruszek. I am a deployment consultant within Microsoft Services. I'm working specifically with Office 365 and more specifically with Office 365 Pro Plus, which is what we're going to be highlighting the features from here. So this is a 200-level session, so if you have any questions about the features that we talk about here, I can't see here, but if you want to go ahead and raise your hand, Brian and Chris in the front here will go ahead and try and count you guys out. Or girls, and if I miss someone and you want me to stop on a slide or during the demo, just go ahead and say something and we'll go ahead and address that there. But like the way that any good presentation should start is we're going to hop into a couple of demos right here to begin with. So the first thing that we're going to look at is a demo with collaboration, and the second one we're going to look at is a demo with intelligence. So I'll go ahead and switch over to our other user here. And just a quick show of hands here. So how many people here are familiar with or are using Office 2016 currently in their environment? Anyone? Okay, so good hands. So what we are focusing on is the Office 365 Pro Plus Office version, which is the difference, it is called Click to Run. So there's a little bit difference in Office 2016 MSI. We won't go into that here. But with Office 365 Pro Plus, you're going to get more features and release more rapidly. Within Office 2016 MSI, you're not necessarily going to see all the features come out at the same time, or if at all. So for those of you that are using Office 365 Pro Plus, a lot of the features we highlight here are soon to come. They're released in the quickest build, so depending on what your IT organization is using, you might be on a little bit slower of a release, so you'll see these start to trickle out into your environment. For those of you that are on Office 2016 MSI, some of these features you'll eventually see, some of these you might not. But I'd be happy if you want to come up to and talk to us about maybe how to transition to Office 365 Pro Plus to capitalize on some of these productivity features. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm logged into my user here. So this is Megan Bowen. We're going to go ahead and open up her Outlook. So this is something that most people do as soon as they get into the office. Most of the time, as the time you're driving into work or as soon as you wake up, the first thing you usually do is check your phone and see what emails you have, check your calendar and all that. So this is a pretty common thing. The first thing we're going to talk about is the @ symbol. So a quick show of hands here. How many people here use some type of social media, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, even collaboration things like Microsoft Teams, GroupMe? So a good amount. A lot of people are familiar with it, especially with millennials like myself. The @ symbol is like the easiest way to tag someone and get to talk to them in a virtual environment, right? Because you're going to go ahead and specifically call them out and say, hey, I want a response from you. Now, whether they actually respond is a little bit different, but it's a good way to grab their attention and get a notification. So we introduced that into Outlook. So you see here in this first email, Alex said, we are ready for the next phase of the design project @ Megan. Please send the most up-to-date files so we can collaborate. So as Megan, I see this in my inbox, and I think, okay, so Alex needs something specifically from me, so I'm going to go ahead and address that. Now, what's even cooler is you can even filter by mentions here. So let's say things have progressed throughout the day, you've gotten busy, you've gotten projects that popped up that you need to address. What you can really do is just focus on these mentions and see when you are specifically called out to follow up on the action items that you're responsible for. So I know within Microsoft, so for a quick example, Brian here, he might need something from me, so he'll tag me in an @ mention and say, hey, John, can you make sure you get these files completed and uploaded by the end of the day? So at the end of the day, I just know I can look through these mentions and see anytime I was called out, what the action items I need to address are and what the date is. It's a really quick way to do a search. With Outlook, you can do the search and indexing to find keywords of when you were called out. What this does is it makes it quick and easy. You can filter by mentions and see all the times that you've been interacted with and what the things you need to follow up on are. So we'll take it to the next step here, and something that's pretty cool is we'll go ahead and reply to Alex here. And we're going to say we want to bring Garth into this. So what we'll do is say so Garth isn't going to pop up, so we'll actually use Alex here. So what the example that we're going to do here is you see that Alex, let's see if we can actually do someone else. So we'll use Christy Klein here. You see Christy is not included on this email at all. So as soon as we tag her in this and say Christy, you'll see she's added to the to line immediately, which is nice because you don't have to worry about including or tagging someone in an email, sending out the email, and realizing they weren't included on the to line. So we'll say Christy Klein. And what another thing is you can actually, you can just delete it so it could be their first name, depending on how personal you want to get there, but we'll say, please check page 2. Now, the other cool thing is, let's say we wanted to add someone else that was already included, so let's do bob@tailspin.com. You notice Bob is on the CC line right now, but let's say we need an action item from Bob as well. So we're going to say, hey, Bob. Instantly, he moves up to the to line. So instead of, I know some people, including myself, when you get CC'd on long chains of emails, you tend to ignore things you're CC'd on rather than directly coming into your inbox. Some people even have filtering rules that if it's CC'd to them, it might go to a folder that they'll address whenever they can. We all know what that means is most of the time it doesn't get read and you got to follow back up with the person. So the cool thing about this is it will automatically move them to the to line so that they know not only through the mentions filter that they're being addressed, that it comes straight into their inbox so you don't have to worry about it being filtered into a different folder because it was only on the CC line. So we'll go ahead and also we're going to go into attach a file here. And I think some of you might be familiar, especially those with Pro Plus, might be familiar with the idea of cloud attachments. So we'll go ahead and go into our folders here, and we'll go into this, and we're going to attach this Contoso Next Gen product planning here. So we'll go ahead and attach that file. And you'll see here what we can actually do is if we want to upload it to OneDrive, it would become a cloud attachment. So right now, I don't currently have it uploaded to OneDrive. So what we can do is remove this attachment. And some of the other attachments that we can look at is, got to go back to the message here, attach file. And these are your recent items. So these could actually include things from OneDrive. It can include your local desktops. And this really hasn't changed much. Everyone likes to see their most recently used items. But the nice part is let's say I was just working on a document for an hour or however long, and I know that I'm going to need to send it out. Doesn't it make sense that when you're sending out an email that this populates on the things that you were just recently working on? Because there's a good chance that when you send out that email, you're going to need to reference a document that you were just working on. So when you drop down through this menu, you'll see your most recently used items. And even if it was saved in the cloud, these will actually pop up as well. So we'll just go ahead and attach a document here, and then we'll go ahead and send it out. So we'll actually switch over to Alex's inbox. So this is Alex using Outlook, the web application. So we'll see this soon populate into his inbox. We see down here at the bottom it's still sending. So we'll wait for it to populate here, and we'll see what it looks like from the Outlook web application, what a mention looks like, and to see when you're included. So you see here. So Megan says, please send files, and it's attached here. So now if we want to actually launch Megan here in the Outlook web app, so we can go to portal.office.com, have her log in, and we'll go to the Outlook mail here. We're going to compose a new email to Alex. And from here, you notice we have that OneDrive option now. So I didn't have OneDrive configured locally on our machine, so some of you in your organizations might be in the same sense that you don't have the OneDrive sync client actually syncing files from your local desktop or whatever folder your home directory is up to the cloud, but you might find yourself in the situation where you do actually have OneDrive storage. It's just via the widget or the Waffle app here. So this is the common scenario that you'll see is you want to attach documents that are stored in your OneDrive, whether it be personal or business. So it's important to be able to collaborate and share those documents. So we have our OneDrive Contoso, so we'll go into this here, and we'll attach that same file. So we'll go to CR227 Product Overview and select Next. And this is pretty cool. So you have the options here to attach as a OneDrive file, which would make it a cloud attachment, which means when I send this file out to Alex, when he makes edits, it's actually going to edit my file as well because it is stored in the cloud and it's one document. The other option is you can attach as a copy, which is the traditional way to send documents. You want to send someone something that they have the option to review or work on, but they aren't going to mess up your version. So the cool thing is, as far as collaboration goes, is I know myself working on our team, we share a lot of documents frequently that make minor edits, and you don't want to have to be versioning those documents. Every time you make a change, you don't want to have a document owner have to go and look and see what the changes are, go and apply them, and then what happens is you have your team of 10 people all have 10 different versions of a PowerPoint, so when you go to present, you're not all on the same page. So being able to attach files as a cloud attachment is key in that area, because if you're collaborating with a team, you could share one document that gets universally worked on. You can even do real-time co-authoring and editing, which we'll do here in just a second. But it really is beneficial when you're looking at a collaboration effort. If you just want to send a document to your manager to sign off on, or maybe it's just a quick review, you can still do that traditional attach as a copy so that they can download it, or excuse me, when it gets received in their inbox, they go ahead and pull it down, they can edit it, and they can send it back to you. But again, your local copy still serves without any of their edits. And the other cool thing is you can actually do the same thing via the Outlook desktop application. And what you do is, if I wanted to send a new email here, and let's say I'm sending it to Alex, and I want to attach this file. Whereas here, you would get this drop-down menu, and you see here, it doesn't have anything available right now because we're doing a local version, but you would see the ability to see, to attach it as a cloud file or a cloud attachment, or you'd have the ability to attach it as a copy. The other cool thing is when you're doing it via the desktop app here, this document, the logo up here with the name and the word icon, and when it's a cloud attachment, it will specifically say, and you'll see a little blue cloud with the logo on it, so you know specifically that it is a cloud attachment. And also, you can actually change the permissions. So let's say I want to send Brian over here one of my cloud attached documents, and I want him to be able to view it and as I make changes to it, so he always has the latest copy, but I want to make sure he doesn't edit anything because I'm still trying to finalize the document. I can actually change the permissions of this document to where it's view only, but it is a cloud attachment. So on day one, I send it to Brian, and he looks at it, and he says, well, this needs a huge overhaul, John. Send it back. And so I go ahead and make changes to it, and I send it to him the next day. That's the train of thought, right? You have to keep resending the document. With cloud attachments, I don't have to resend that to him. He still has that cloud version document. So the next day, I could just let him know that, hey, either I had this document made, or if I made a commitment to him that at the end of the day, the document would be finalized. He doesn't have to follow up from me or get an attachment from me. He's able to just open that cloud attachment that I sent the first time. And since it's view only, he's going to pull it open. He can't edit or change it, but it will have those most recent changes that I made. So this is another huge collaboration piece that if you don't want people editing your documents, but you want them to always have the latest copy, you can just send it as a cloud-attached document, but in view or read only. And it limits them from being able to edit it, but anytime they want to access that document, instead of having to share it with them through SharePoint or whatever else, you can do it straight through the Outlook either web application or OA, or you can do it through the Outlook desktop client, and it really helps with collaboration. I know my team and with Brian, we use these features a lot all the time because, again, you don't want to have to be managing different versions. And I see you have a question out there. Yeah, so the question is around whether you're actually sharing it with a person. So as far as permissions go, you actually are giving permissions to that person to edit the document, but it's done natively through either the Outlook desktop client or the web application, because since they are going to have access to your cloud document, you do have to give them permissions, but what permissions you give them is what I was just talking about. So in most cases, what we see at Microsoft is if you want to still hold the integrity of that document, you'd attach that cloud file instead of having to post it in like a SharePoint site or something. You can attach that cloud file from your OneDrive for Business folder and just do view only and send it out to even a huge distribution list. So anytime those people need to see the latest changes, they can see it, and it's always up to date. But they also don't have permissions to edit your document at all. They can just view it. Does that make? Yeah, so then if they want to save a local copy, then it becomes their copy, and that's their option. Yeah, and then the cool thing is you can actually save a local copy, but still have this email saved, and then every time you want to see the most current copy, you can go and reference that email that was sent to you, correct?
And it does, one note on that is it does
Yeah, yeah. The nice, as exactly like Brian said, this is just a quicker way instead of having to go into OneDrive and right-click, share with me if it's from your folder, or if you're in the OneDrive widget like we are now. If you want to save time, you could actually just go and attach that document and choose the permissions from there.
You can change those settings back and forth.
So the question was if you could change the settings back and forth as far as like changing view and read, or edit and read. Yeah, so you can change permissions. Once you send it out, you can only change permissions through either OneDrive or like your SharePoint widget. So you can't change it through the email anymore since it's been sent. But let's say I did send an email out to you that I allowed you to edit the file. I could go back into my OneDrive sync client or through the OneDrive app and then re-edit those permissions. Yeah, good question. All right, so we'll go ahead and close this and we'll go back into the portal here. So this we're going to go ahead and attach it as a OneDrive file. We'll see it gets loaded here. And you'll see here, anyone can edit is what the permissions are right now. You'll see it right here. And it also has this nice cloud icon to let you know that it is a cloud file. So we'll go ahead and drop down, and you'll see here, the first one is change permissions. The next one is attach as a copy, so we'll just make it a local copy. So we'll go ahead and select change permissions. And these are all the drop downs that you can see. So recipients can edit, recipients can view, anyone in my organization can edit, anyone in my organization can view, anyone can edit, anyone can view. Anyone can edit and anyone can view. If I have any security people out there, that's not going to fly with you, I'm sure. So most of the times, you'll keep it within an organization, and most of the times that we actually send it, it's going to be specific recipients can edit or view, because you don't want to send a document out and include edit permissions, and then someone from the finance team in a whole different country somehow comes across it, thinks, oh, this is some great IP or documentation that I could use. I'm going to go ahead and change it, and all of a sudden you log in the next day excited to work on your document and it's changed. So do be careful when you are sending out these permissions. Make sure you're aware of who you're actually sharing it with, and that way no one's actually editing your copy. But as the gentleman back there did mention, if you do send it out and you realize you sent it with the wrong permissions, you can go into your OneDrive client, or you can go into the OneDrive Outlook or the web app, and you can reset those permissions and set them accordingly. So the question was, do forwards keep that permission? Yes. When you forward it, if you receive the email from me and then forward it, I believe it will actually take down as it will become a local copy. I'd have to follow up on that, because if you're forwarding else someone's email, you can't actually write the permissions for it. But that's honestly a scenario that I haven't tested. So if you want to come talk with me afterwards, we can just test it out real quick. But I believe if you forward out a cloud-attached document, it becomes a local copy of it, because the original sender did not set the permissions for that. Good questions. So we'll go ahead and do recipients can edit for this one. And then you have the option down here to apply to all files shared in this message. So we'll just go ahead and leave that fine. We'll go ahead and click OK. And it's going to go ahead and save and updates that. And you'll see here, it does let you know what your permissions are when you send it. So we'll go ahead and just do a quick subject, doc, click send. And we already have it pulled up here. So now what we're going to do is from Megan Bowen here, we just sent that document out. Sent items. Doc, and then we're going to go ahead and download and open this document up in Word. And this is actually going to be, we want the OneDrive copy, so I'll go ahead and get that one opened. So you'll see here, one distinct way to tell if you're working with a cloud document or a local document is this save icon up there at the top left-hand corner. I'll go ahead and maximize this document here, sorry. So this save icon will have that the circle of arrows to let you know that it is constantly saving changes and it is saving up to the cloud. So if you see the traditional save icon with just a floppy disk, it's going to be a local copy. If you see it like it is, it's a quick way to know that it is saving up to the cloud. That's a little tip and trick that I like to always remember because it's important to know whether you're saving to the cloud, if you're offline, and things like that. So we have this document open, and what we're going to look at now is real-time co-authoring. So we'll go back over to Alex's inbox, and he sent this document out. What we want to do is go ahead and open it in Word Online. And you'll see here, so it says that who shared it with you, and you're able to actually go in here and edit this document straight from Word. So and it lets you know you'll be editing this file in the cloud. It's going to bring open Word Online. And the cool thing is, look, it goes ahead and lets me know that Megan Bowen is currently editing this document because Megan does have it open, and it's in the desktop application of Word. So it doesn't matter if you're using an online version of the application or if you're using the desktop application. They do have full integration with co-authoring and everything else. They communicate. So it goes ahead and lets you know that someone else is in that document and currently working. So if we go back to Megan over here, and we have all these edits up here. But let's go ahead and change this. How does the CR227 measure up? And another thing, so on the local version, you're going to see this. Other people are editing the document. You can disable this notification, or you can actually, so what it'll ask is, do you want to automatically share changes as they happen? And what this allows you to do is, so each time as Alex makes edits, if I click yes here, as he makes edits, they're actually going to pop up in my document. So it's real time. It's it is based on your network connection. So if you're on a satellite cable that you're getting very terrible speeds, you can expect that it will be a little bit behind. But in an organizational standpoint, within your internal network, you will see pretty much real time editing. So if you sat next to the person that was actually editing this document, which I'm about to show you now, you will actually see as they're typing, it's about less than a half-second delay on when it pops up onto the other person's screen. And you can actually have multiple people doing this because within our team, we actually have a couple documents that will have multiple people in editing different sections. So it's, the share changes happens automatically and they get populated. And you can all be in the same document at the same time, editing whatever you need to, but not worrying about writing over each other's stuff because you're in your specific section. So whenever you're done, you can just save and close out of the document, and those changes will be made, and everyone else can keep working on their document. So we'll go ahead and share real changes as they happen. So Alex over here is going to change up how does the CCR227 measure up. We can go ahead and say, we'll do a little split screen here. And the cool thing is, so on this left-hand side here, it lets me know, as I'm in Alex's profile, it lets me know that Megan is actually writing right there. So that's what this green line is. So I'll go ahead and change how does it measure up and just say, come on now. Running a little bit slow. So this section is actually now going to be locked because Megan is editing it. So we'll go up here to an alternative section. What's going on here? Sorry, this is when demos go wrong, but the co-authoring is having a little bit of issue right now. But you saw kind of what was happening there, so we can edit it from Megan's side, but you see when we try and make edits, you see this notification down here on the left-hand side. So I'm going to go ahead and be able to type now, and we go ahead and add some A's here, and we switch back to Alex's document over here. And you see those same edits were instant, and you see that Megan Bowen made them. And as someone else, which is the common question I get usually when delivering this session, is what if two people are writing at the same time? And that's exactly what you saw me go through there during that little demo failure, is then if you're writing in the same section at the same time, whoever was there first is going to get the permissions. It's going to lock it from the other user, which is exactly what you saw have happen there. So I guess it kind of worked out in my favor. So it does have protection against that, because the common question is, okay, I'm trying to write this same line as someone else. Let's say we both start typing at the same time. Is it going to combine the two sentences? What's going to happen? It is smart enough to lock that section as someone is editing it, and then it will release an unlock shortly after, and someone else is able to go in there and edit it. So pretty cool. Co-authoring is a big piece of collaboration going forward. We obviously want to be able to work in multiple documents at the same time. And this doesn't just apply to Word either. PowerPoint documents are another one. Let's say you have a group of people presenting. Each person only needs to be responsible for their slides or sections of their slides. You can have a cloud-attached PowerPoint file and have everyone in there working at the same time. Changes will be saved automatically, and that way you're not stepping on each other. You don't have to worry about forwarding out documents every time someone makes changes. If you just send out one cloud-attached document, everyone is going to have permissions to it. They can edit it, and then it's always up to date. Any questions about co-authoring? All right, cool. Just a quick show of hands. How many people here have used co-authoring before? Oh, so all right, quite a lot of people. So this was a little bit of a recap for you. Well, I hope it was entertaining watching what happens when two people try and edit at the same time. So at least you have a little bit of security there, knowing that that won't happen to you and someone won't overwrite as you're currently writing. So we'll go ahead and close out of those. And we'll get into the next one here. We're going to go into some intelligence features. So those were kind of the focus on collaboration. The other cool thing that you could actually do is when you create new meetings, when I go here, we all know that you can attach a document to a meeting. Excuse me. When you attach a document to a meeting, it was always that traditional local copy. These cloud attachments do apply to that as well. So you can attach a cloud-attached document to a meeting. So anytime that meeting is coming up, or if someone wants to double-click on the meeting invite, they're always able to pull down the cloud-attached copy. What this works very well for is when you have reoccurring meetings. So let's say, like Chris sets up a weekly reoccurring meeting with us, and we might be always using a PowerPoint slide to look at some metrics or things like that. In that example, what would happen is he attaches it as a cloud document. So each meeting we go into, if he makes edits to it, all we have to do is go and find that reoccurring meeting, open up that cloud document, and I can always see the latest PowerPoint file and what edits Chris has made, so I can make sure that I'm prepared for the meeting. So as we get into the intelligence features here, we're going to go ahead and open up the Contoso Coffee Shop here. So this is your basic PowerPoint, right? You have nothing really going on. You have just white background. There's a lot of debate whether, what backgrounds are supposed to look like, bullet points, how many words, etc. But the one thing is whether you're an expert PowerPoint creator or this is what you do every single time, just know that there are some great new features as far as intelligence and working behind PowerPoint that are going to help you become the coolest PowerPoint maker in all of your company until other people find out about the features as well. So what we'll do here is we want to spice up this first slide a little bit. It's bland. We want to make it pop. Let's say we're going to present to either our leadership team or some investors. We want to make it look like we really put a lot of time into this, even though we didn't. We'll go ahead and select Insert here, and we're going to select some pictures. And we're going to do the barista here and the espresso. And that looks terrible. So you don't really have much going on. But look how easy it is using what's called PowerPoint Designer. It's going to actually make recommendations for you. So all you have to do is click on one, and it gives you a formatted slide based on recommendations, and it looks at the pictures actually. So there's a lot going on in the background as far as intelligence goes, more than most people realize. It actually looks at the pictures to try and detail where focal points are, where you'd want the center of attention to be. And then it will actually crop and place these pictures according to that. So this is a really cool way if you don't have a lot of time and you want to spice up a PowerPoint, or even if you do have a lot of time and you think it could be better spent on working on different items. This is a very good way to make very creative and pop and flashy PowerPoints with minimum effort. So you can actually go and choose a couple different designs, and we'll go ahead and select this one here. We'll go on to the next slide here. So finding the perfect grind. This is another one that we're going to go ahead and insert a picture to. So we'll go select Insert Pictures. And we're going to select the barista here. And so this would be the normal slide, right? You go ahead and present this out, and someone that you're presenting to, maybe an investor or your leadership team, would see this and think, wow, they really didn't put in much effort to this. This just looks like it could be even a crop photo or a stock photo they took online. I'd like to see a little bit more care into this business. So in just a couple matter of seconds, all you have to do is select the design idea that works best for you. And if you notice, each time it's going to focus where the picture has the focal point. So as you notice, he's pouring the beans out. He's looking directly at the beans, and that's going to be the focus when you have that picture in the forefront. In the background, it's going to be a little bit different. It doesn't focus on the focal points as much as it just wants the detail in the background. But you can go ahead and play with these and find whatever one suits your needs best. Excuse me. And again, this is done in a matter of seconds. Design ideas are automatically generated for you. So we'll go ahead and select this one of him in the background. And then we'll go on to our next slide. And before I do, it doesn't just work with pictures, because some of you might be thinking that. Some of you might have actually used this already and think, my secret is out now. Everyone's going to find out about it. But we go on to the next one, and it can actually include bullet points. It can help you detail, the step process. So we look at this. This slide is titled Steps in the Right Direction. It would be cool if we had some type of flow chart or chart that would illustrate and follow along with the steps in the right direction. So again, it's going to make some offers for you. So you look at this first one here. Whatever one obviously suits your needs, you're going to go ahead and select. So we'll just go ahead and do this 1, 2, 3. It kind of goes in line with the bullet points. But again, this was something, all you needed to do was with a blank white template in the background, 12-point font in black Times New Roman or whatever font it is, the most basic things. All you have to do is put that on there, use Designer, and it's going to generate ideas automatically and for you. That's some pretty cool intelligence that PowerPoint is able to do. Last one we'll go to is this last slide here. And the same thing. So it's going to generate some slide ideas, and we're going to go ahead and see which one suits us best. And we might decide that this fourth option works best. You'll see it move the title down to the bottom, so how to make the best French press. It's going to be step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in kind of a new trendy way. So all these designer ideas are recommended based on when it takes into account what the content is, what message you're trying to convey, and it gives you multiple options to what you want to go with. So I don't know how many people have actually used Designer. It's a really cool feature, and if you're not big into PowerPoints, or even if you are, it's a very easy and efficient way to take a normal-looking PowerPoint, add some pictures to it, just add your basic content, and let it spice it up for you. Because again, these are intelligent designs in the background that are running, so they're going to be able to take a look at how best to organize that content. Maybe you are an expert PowerPoint creator and a marketing genius, and you want to do it yourself. You can always use these recommendations for advice and say, okay, I like the way this recommendation looks, but I'm going to change up a couple other things, and you can do that as well. So let's say you decided you wanted to change the background color on this, or all of a sudden you don't need this one anymore. You can delete it, resizes. So there's a lot of creative features that you're allowed and able to do with this. Pretty cool. So the next one we'll go to. So a quick show of hands. How many of you knew about PowerPoint Designer? So only a couple people. So yeah, it's definitely something that as soon as it's released to your organization, this is a newer feature that was released about a couple months ago, back in the end of 2016. So you might see it trickle into your environment. You might not see it there yet, but it's definitely something to get familiar with and play around because, again, you'll be able to walk into meetings with these killer PowerPoints and be pretty impressive. So next one we'll look at is this early solar system slideshow here. So we'll go ahead and launch it. And you'll see here, so what we want to do is convey that, just one second. So we're going to go through the different planets. This is a typical way to do. Next slide, next slide, next slide, next slide. That's a traditional way of doing PowerPoints, right? You have to go to the next slide. If you really want to get creative, I've seen people, and I've even done it myself, you might have one master slide and a million different animations that you're doing of hiding things, deleting things, all that types of stuff. There has to be an easier way, and that's what was introduced with the PowerPoint morph transition. So what we'll go ahead and do is select slide 2 through 8 here, and in transitions, we'll go ahead and select morph. Now, I know some of you out there, especially if you're into marketing or design and you're not just a straight technical person, you can understand that transitions and animations can either make or break a PowerPoint. If you have crazy animations like swivel and all that types of stuff like I'd like to do to Brian here, it drives people crazy, right? Because you have something that comes swiveling in and you're trying to present in a serious manner. Some people might not take that in a good way. So the morph transition is a great transition to use as far as your slides go, to be subtle and simple, and I'll show you exactly how it works here. We'll go ahead and launch it. Now pay attention to when each slide changes here. Pretty cool as it moves along, as if you're actually going, and I know this isn't realistic, but as if you're going throughout the solar system with it. You'll see each slide will go from the next to the next, and you feel like as an audience you're moving along with the presentation instead of each cut out, and if you're using transitions, you might have fade out, whatever it is, the next one comes and fades in. This is a concurrent way to keep following along with the presentation, and it's easy to keep people engaged because they're not actually cutting out slides or getting, a slide disappears and a new one comes up. You can keep them engaged the whole time because as you're talking, you can say, okay, now look what comes up next, all the planets. So you can continue walking around, and it's a great transition to keep people interested in engaged and interested in your PowerPoint without going over the top with different types of transitions. Because I know personally, before Morph came out, when I wanted to do things like this, I was one of those guys that would have a ton of different animations and deletions all going on a slide, and those just get layered and layered and layered. So if you send it to someone to edit, they're just going to see a whole bunch of gunk on one slide and wonder what you were doing. So this is an easy way to just keep it as 8 different slides and have it move along as you need, so you can keep speaker notes on each slide, things like that. And the morph is the one transition that I think you'll find no matter whether someone's big into transitions or absolutely hates them, the morph transition is something that does work, and as long as you use it correctly, it can really illustrate your purpose as you're trying to walk through different types of situations, different steps or processes, or even if you just want to have a smooth transition across. Any questions about the morph transition? How many of you out there have used this transition or knew about it?
How does that work, though? I did, because it's the same graphic. How does it work?
So the question is, how does it work? I am not an engineer that worked on it, but what it does is it's able to kind of use that same intelligent background of when it recognizes what's on the slide, and it's going to, in a way, transition and combine the 2 slides as it transitions. Because in essence, it is still a transition, so it still is a motion happening. But what it does is it's able to combine the 2 slides to have a smooth, seamless transition, almost like you're panning around. Instead of taking a picture, taking another picture, it's almost like a video of going from one slide to the next. As far as the specific engineering terms, Brian, go ahead.
A lot of what it does, if you use this, like the solar system one's good because it flips through it, but if you take regular slides and you have like blocks, 3 blocks on this side, and there's 3 blocks at the bottom, it'll look at those, measure them, and they'll kind of morph together. So it's worth playing with as you go through because it looks at color schemes and shapes and what was on the slides, and then it takes, oh, I'm going to move this one to this one. So it'll look at those things and combine them and do a flow.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Brian.
When you change the morph settings, like does it go faster, slower, or just one morph setting?
So the question was if you can change the morph settings. You cannot. The only thing you can do is you can change some of the durations on it. There's not a whole lot of customization. And as Brian was kind of mentioning, you do have to play with it because in that scenario, like if you have boxes that are shifting over, I'll be 100% honest, sometimes the morph transition isn't the best to get your point across because it could be too much going on in the screen. If I have, let's say, 10 boxes stacked on the left and I go to the next one and you have them all sliding across, as cool as it might look as it's concurrent, maybe that's not the best way to have your audience looking at all these boxes moving around rather than just bringing up a new slide. So the customizations to the actual transition itself right now are pretty limited. But I can't really see a whole lot of customization in the future either. But since it is a new feature, you can always provide feedback via the application. So if you're working with it, and I recommend this to everyone out there in any application, if there's ever a feature that you like or even dislike that you want to see improvements on, the product group takes these feedback requests, and especially the individual application teams, they take these feedback requests very seriously. They meet almost on a weekly basis. I know most of them do. So they meet on a weekly basis and actually review all of these feedback requests. So for instance, if you're using the morph and you think, it would be really cool if you're able to set some timings on them or to move it faster or slower or even do some types of effects, I don't know. You can submit that through the feedback tool and they'll actually review it, and when they get enough, they prioritize them obviously, but when they get enough feedback on something, you'll see it start to get implemented. Any other questions so far? All right. These have been awesome questions so far, too, so thank you. So that was just a quick little thing on the slide, or the morph transition. So the next one that we'll look at, and some of you might have noticed throughout the tech session so far over the last 2 days, a lot of Microsoft people are using this morph transition, and the next one that I'm about to show you, which is called the zoom feature. So we'll go ahead and open up that. And we'll go ahead and kick this one off. So sometimes you're going to be delivering presentations where the agenda, you have kind of a set agenda, but it bounces back and forth because you'll get people that want to go back in questions. You might come to a specific topic that your audience knows enough about that you can skip through, and they might want to see a different section. There's also, you might have a presentation that really goes in no specific order. You float it the best that you can, but it's kind of up to your audience on what section they want to start on. And this is a pretty cool feature, what's called the zoom feature. So we'll go to this next slide here. And this should be almost like your traditional agenda slide of we're going to go into planning, human factors, materials, lighting, and color. Now, traditionally, what you would do is you would hit enter or your next slide, and it would go to planning, which I'll do here. And it would just zoom in like this, which is almost just like a transition. But what Zoom actually does is it allows you to click on any of these. So let's say someone in the audience shouted out, oh, I really want to see color. You can actually click on color, and it takes you to that part of the slide deck, excuse me. So then you all of a sudden, you'll see here, we went from slide 2 to slide 29 out of 30. So it will take you to whatever place that is and whatever grouping that is. So you do need to make sure that you have specific sections in your PowerPoint, and that's what these will align to. But it's a great way for this example of if you have really no set agenda, or if you have an agenda but you know you're going to be bouncing around back and forth, it's open to your audience to be able to say, okay, we want to dive into that section first. So it is a really useful feature, especially when you start on your agenda page, because what you can always do too is go back a slide, and that was simple. So I was on slide 29. I hit back, and since it was smart enough to recognize that I zoomed in on color initially, once I go one slide back, it doesn't go to 28, it goes back to slide 2, which is really great because when you're delivering a presentation, it would be awesome. It's obviously awesome that you're able to zoom in, but what functionality would it really have is if when you wanted to go back, you had to go all the way back to slide 2. So it is smart enough to recognize that you were on slide 2, you went to slide 29, and it's going to go back to slide 2 in that sequential order. So now we might say, okay, we want to go into lighting, or let's go into human factors. Again, works the same way. It's going to zoom in on it, and you're going to be on slide 8 of 33 now. You go through it. And the other thing is if you keep going through the slides and you want to go concurrently, so we'll keep going. These tables are getting bigger. It's going to kick back off after you finish that section back on this main page where you can click to the next section. Now, you can play around with some options here if you want to keep it going concurrently, but in the idea that you want to be able to check and choose these check and then choose what individual sections you want to use, it's very helpful that you're able to dive into specifically what your audience might ask for. And I know this is one, I actually used the Zoom feature in my last presentation earlier today. The Zoom design and morph transition all within PowerPoint are focused around business intelligence, and I can say that within Microsoft and even outside of Microsoft, I'm seeing these used heavily because we've gotten feedback from people. It would be really cool if you could do this, if you could make the product or the application work like this. And you're starting to see that feedback integrated into it, and really it's around how to make people be more efficient in making PowerPoints and make you deliver your ideas and your content across better without having to spend hours layering animations, layering different type of pictures across it, having to be the best one and the best skills to be able to market that slide specifically. Me as a technical guy, I can't really market a slide to make it look great. So I like using these design features that it's going to recognize or recommend something for me that looks great. It's almost like going to a tailor that when you get there, they say, hey, this suit's going to make you look best. And I say, okay, it's that simple. So any questions about some of the business intelligence features of PowerPoint? No? Okay. Oh, So the question was around the quick start feature. That was what just popped up there. I'm not aware if that is a Pro Plus unique feature. Do you, either of you two know? I would guess it is because all these features that we're talking about now were released first in Pro Plus and not in the MSI version. But I'm honestly not sure there. You can follow up with me afterwards and we can try and get that answer for you. Yeah.
Can you share PowerPoint documents like you share anything else and change whether or not the person who's reviewing those or
Yeah, so the question was if you can still use PowerPoint files as cloud attachments and change the permissions, and the answer is yes. Any supported Office application file, whether it's Excel, PowerPoint, Access, Word, all those you can share and edit those cloud attached permissions. And it even goes almost as far as whatever is in your OneDrive when you share it out, because all it is doing is setting those permissions on the back end. So when you attach I think even PDFs you can do a cloud file. Not that you're going to really be able to edit a PDF that much, but what it's doing on the back end, and again, this is a 200 level course, so sorry if I'm going a little bit too deep here, but on the back end, all it's doing is setting those file permissions within OneDrive itself. So whether you do it from the sync client or the the sync client, the web application, or just through Outlook web app or Outlook desktop client, it's setting those file permissions on the back end of what's stored in your OneDrive, which relies on SharePoint. So it's a whole tree that essentially you're setting it way down at this detailed level, but you have many means of ways of actually doing it that it gets written down to that level. Yes?
Yeah. Are these features operant with earlier versions than 2016 Pro Plus?
So
If you create it in Pro Plus, then can you display it in a different version of PowerPoint?
So the question was, are these features available if you've created it in Pro Plus and then you revert back to, let's say, an earlier version of Office, or even specifically if you go into an Office 2010? I don't believe they are. I believe you have to be using the version of Office that displays these features, or that has these features set in them. That's another thing I would actually have to test. I'm pretty sure that you have to be in a compatible version that has these features in it to be able to use it. Because when you're designing and editing it, the PowerPoint program itself is going to be able to have the business intelligence on the back end on how to handle those features, even when you're presenting it. So if you want to follow up with me right afterwards, we can run a test. I'm heavily positive, but I want to make sure I give you the right answer on that one. Do you guys know?
I think you're right. I don't know for sure.
I have to test it.
Like Morph and Zoom, if you take those into an older version of PowerPoint, the logic is there through the transition and the navigation. So, especially if you're looking at an older version of PowerPoint, maybe you took one of those planet slides out of the middle of the Morph and then sent it back. It's going to break the Morph transition between those two.
And even in the viewers, I think there's a PowerPoint viewer.
Well, you're not going to, same thing there, that functionality is going to be limited if you're going to edit or break it.
Yeah, you have a flat PowerPoint, so you just see the slide transitions right away.
Any more questions? So the last feature that we're going to talk about that's within PowerPoint here is one of my favorite ones to do. So I have a couple good friends of mine that are construction project managers, and these are the one features that I was proud to be a part of Microsoft specifically for this. They came to me and actually texted me and called me and said this was their favorite feature that Microsoft has to offer. So you can imagine as someone that's on site, or you can even look at a wide variety of industries. Mobility is a big thing right now. You want to be able to be mobile and being able to edit documents like this. You're on the go. So we'll take this example of this interior design PowerPoint. And let's say I was an interior designer, and I have this presenting to a customer or a prospective customer of mine. And they say, that they would like to add some furniture to here. So you can say, okay, we're going to go ahead and draw. We're going to put a nice little square seating over there. We'll go ahead and let's add a bar over here, and we'll add some bar stools. And so you're on the go. You might be out in the field, and all these features that I'm doing right now are actually available on mobile applications. So if you're on an iPad or a different type of tablet application, you're actually able to do this. And that's where this feature, this inking feature is what it's called, really comes into play. Because my friends, when they're out in the field and they're working on construction sites, they have an iPad, they have a Lenovo Yogo, they have Surfaces, and they're out there. They have their pen with them, and they're actually able to ink and draw designs up really easily. You look at things like the fashion industry. You could have a slide of something that's a pair of pants, a dress, or something. You're actually able to make active changes on there through this slide. But some of you might out there think, I'm not really going to impress people by drawing, pretty crappy shapes like that. So the other thing that you can actually do is ink the shape, which will help people like me that are challenged to drawing pretty good shapes here. So I'll do a circle here. You got to actually complete it, so that's my fault there. But we'll select this ink the shape here, and we'll do. And you'll see that it closes it off and makes it a perfect rectangle. So then you can drag and drop it a little bit. But what this really helps to do is if you're on the go and you're trying to still make an impact and impress whoever you're talking about, and you don't want terrible circles and squares and rectangles like that, you want something more concrete, you can do things like that. And what you can do is then go back and edit it. You can even change the color of it. You can change the border, different things like that. So in this example, my bar that didn't look very much like a bar can look a little bit more. Well, that's a terrible seat. But you can see here that you're able to actually have it convert to a shape, and you're able to have a little bit of a better demonstration of what it was going to look like than someone not completing circles like that. I'm doing it with my hand, which is one thing you can do, so I'm drawing with my fingertip. In most cases, you're going to be using some type of stylus or pen, but I'm doing this just for a demonstration that even if you're mobile, you're on the go, and you're out in the field, or if you're out wherever you are actually able to do it with just your fingertip and the PowerPoint application. So this is one of my favorite features because we could actually take a look at opening up a document and doing it the same in here. So let's open this Contoso Next Gen Camera Product Planning. And we go to Draw with Touch. And I say, I'm going to review this document for someone. And I say, I'm going to circle this, point an arrow, and say, Change. So you can actually go and mark up documents as if you're back in the days of getting a paper document, making changes, and submit it back to someone. So you're able to take this document, if you have your stylus or your pen, which will be easier to write. You can actually circle things, make markups on there without actually inserting comments like we're used to with Word. And you can also highlight, scratch out areas. So if I decided, we want to change that. The next thing we want to do is, this area, that's got to go. Let's change this one to down here. Let's move this one to up there. Now think about how long that would have taken is if you'd either have to tell someone what you wanted them to do or you'd have to actually manually go in and do it. Look how quickly I just did that. It took all of about 10 seconds to make those changes. It's a simple markup as if it was a printed piece of paper. I was able to make changes with the pen and hand deliver it back to them. In this world where most of your teams and people you might be interacting with might be on the other side of a building, the other side of a state, the other side of the country, the other side of the world. You want to be able to make these changes in real time with them, so you could actually even be co-authoring this document as you're making these inking changes. So there's a lot of really cool features as far as how you're going to collaborate with each other, whether you're close by or on a distant location. And it's real time, so you're able to do these changes. You don't have to worry about the long process of inserting a comment, typing out what you wanted them to do, that person not understanding what they wanted to do, that person not understanding what you meant in those changes. So they're actually able to work with you. You can write out specifically there. You can cross things out. So you get a lot more interaction, a lot more detail that you can provide by doing a markup of this. And then what they can do is, let's say they get the copy back, and you say, OK, erase it. And it doesn't erase the text, which makes sense, right? Because you would be pretty upset if this feature, as cool as it is, erase the text for some reason. So it just erases the markup that you made. So as soon as you make those changes, you can go back and you can go ahead and erase it. You can use different color fonts. You can use things like highlighters. So let's say I want to highlight this area. And there you go. So it's very quick, it's very easy, and it's very efficient. So when you're out in the field, when you need to get changes made quickly, this is what it allows you to not only be collaborative, but allows you to be mobile as well. So the last thing that we'll talk about here, we'll close this one. we'll go ahead and, so in the education space, this one is probably one of the coolest things that I've gotten to play around with. Unfortunately, I didn't get to use it when I was still in university, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. But let's go ahead and let's say we're doing a little bit of homework here, so let's see if it's going to let me type. So we'll go ahead and say this is our algebra homework from last week that we didn't do, but it's due. We'll go ahead and do 3x squared minus 12 equals 0. Now what we want to do is lasso this. Go ahead and highlight it all. And then select this math button here. And it's going to recognize that what I wrote is 3x squared minus 12. And now what I can do is do ink to math, make it look nicer. But what we can also do is let's go ahead and select this, select an action, and you can even do solve for x. So x is equal to, x is equal to minus 2, which is pretty cool because for those of you out there that used to use a website called Wolfram Alpha like I used to solve equations when you needed it done quickly, you can now do it in OneNote, so why not use Microsoft for it? And you can actually, the even cooler part, which is good for education, is the show steps. So show short steps by finding square root, steps by finding square root, steps by using the quadratic formula. We don't want to get into that right now. So we'll go ahead and do steps by finding the square root. And then as a student, what you're able to do is write these steps out and actually reverse back. So if you weren't able to find the answer out and you needed OneNote to solve it for you, you can have it solve it for you, and then you can write it out backwards. The other benefit, too, which we won't do here, but you can actually replay the steps. So as I wrote these inking things out, as I wrote these steps down, is I'd be able to replay it in reverse. So if a teacher is monitoring this, and let's say I submit my homework via OneNote to my teacher or my professor, she can see my train of thought. So she can see that I wrote 3x squared minus 12 equals 0, 3x squared equals 12, x squared equals 4, x equals 2, or negative 2. Now, she can actually replay that, and let's see if I just wrote, just went straight to the answer, or you can even, and in the better cases, you're actually able to see a student's mind as they process through these things, so you can catch where they're making their errors from and how they can better correct it. So this is a really cool feature for the education space if you're working with your children, even if you're a tutor or any type of aspect there. Even if you're not doing equations, for learning purposes, but if you're doing it on a job site or if you're doing things that you need to solve for equations, being able to pull open a OneNote, again, this is fully supported on mobile devices as well, so you could pull open your iPad, you can start doing things like this, and you can start inking, drawing out equations like this if you're on a site or if you need measurements for something. You can draw it out, have it automatically solved for you, all within OneNote itself, and you can have it inked, and you can even make notes as far as, okay, this was the answer, so x needs to be 2 or minus 2, and if we're in a real-life scenario, x needs to be 2 because it's positive, and then you're able to make notes and say, okay, x equals 2, do this, 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 and you have all your information now jotted down in one place, aka OneNote, right? So it's really great in the fact that you have all of your collaboration efforts, all of your work done, whether it's done mobily or on desktop applications. It's all in one space, so you don't have to worry about ruffling through a ton of different Post-it notes or sticky notes that you made. You could have everything done in one simple application. Any questions on that? Had anyone seen this feature before? Just a quick show of hands, how many of you would have used this in university? Yeah, it's a pretty cool feature because if you are familiar with Wolfram Alpha, it's a website that you can enter in your equations to, and it does it for you. But what this does is actually makes you work through things. So it's a little bit better. It still gives you the answer if needed, but you're actually forced to work through things. So we'll go ahead and pop back into the slide here. We got about 15 minutes left. So I hope those demos were cool for you to get to see and see what some of the features are, that we're working on. And we'll get into what some of the new features that might look like and what the product teams are doing. So just a quick talk on mobility. So as we all know, mobility is kind of the new norm, the focus of where everything is going, where you want to be able to be productive. Whether you want to or not, your managers and your organizations want you to be able to be productive on your mobile devices from anywhere. So it's important to have these features available on things like iPads, even on your phone, Surface devices, Lenovo Yogos, things that You might be out in the field as a consultant, as an IT pro, as any type of engineer. You want to be able to make notes and things like that out in the field on no matter what device you're having. And more importantly, you want it to be able to sync back to all of your devices. So let's say I go out and I'm on an iPad and I make some notes and I make it in a OneNote. Let's say I'm sharing that with Chris and Brian here. They in real time could see my notes as I'm making it, and they're seeing it on their OneNote desktop application. And when I decide that I'm ready to clean it all up, I can go back on my PC and I can go ahead and launch the OneNote desktop application and continue working right where I left off in there. So just a couple of quick statistics that I'm sure everyone is kind of aware of and has seen. But 46% of the U.S. workforce will be comprised of millennials by 2020, so that's us. And we work in a different style. You know, you hear a ton of people complain about millennials. You love them, you hate them. But we do have a different type of style of working. But as important as we focus on the collaboration piece, the mobility piece. Those are two big areas that your industry or your focus really has to be on. Because as things get in collaboration, you don't want to be a company trying to work with another company or organization. And they're very collaborative, and they're able to share and do all this sorts of stuff. And you're still sending paper copies of things that need to be snail mailed. So the industry right now is headed towards mobility, towards collaboration, towards more intelligence. You know, work smarter, not harder. So it's a big trend of being 50% of millennials, because it leads into the second one of employees work on 100% more teams than they did 5 years ago. So if you think about yourself, you might not find yourself in this category, but I know me personally, coming from university and then into the real world, I was on team after team after team after team. And it's good, right? Because you get to work with collaborative people. You have people look at ideas and mindsets that you can't exactly do. So it's great, and we realize that there is a huge benefits with teams. But you got to make sure that you're collaborating with your team, and that's what a lot of these features and functionalities within the Office applications allow you to do. Because even at a young age, you start, in elementary schools and middle schools, you start working on team projects and developing what it's like. So the focus on working on teams as you get into the industry as a professional is huge right now. And you even look at the collaboration pieces that are out there, like Yammer, like Teams, the Office 365 groups, all that type of stuff. You want to be able to collaborate with your team most effectively. So info overload wastes 25% of employee time, costing U.S. businesses almost $1 trillion a year. That is a ridiculous number. And the idea is as an organization, if you're a leader, you see this number and you think, no, that's not my business, it can't be. And that's what everyone wants to think, but not everyone also necessarily has the tools to enable their productivity workforce to be able to do this. That's what the latest Office 365 Pro Plus suite allows you to do, is leverage these tools on how to be more efficient, more productive, so at the end of the day, you get to go home and you get to enjoy your evenings, you get to celebrate your weekends without having to worry about logging back in and filing those TPS reports, things like that. And the last one here, 80% of employees admit to using non-approved SaaS apps in their jobs, which this is, again, if we have any security people here, this is probably driving them crazy, because it does happen all the time. When I get on sites with customers, I see people doing the craziest things because it worked once, and that's the only way they knew to do it. So it's important to be able to not only provide mobility, intelligence, and collaboration, but security is the other big one that you definitely won't see go away in the future. It's only going to get more important. So being able to lock things down like that, provide employees the correct way to do things, and also have it safe and secure. So the empowering workplace must think like a platform. Again, you've heard me say these 4 words. You're probably we trust the new one in there, but that works with security. So you're probably getting sick of me saying these, but these are the 4 big words that over the last 10 years, they've become more and more of a focus, other than you could add big data up there. But these are 4 things that power an organization on how to be more effective and more efficient. So these are things you're not going to see go away, and that's why Microsoft is putting a lot of effort in how to really improve in these 4 categories, not only in Office apps like we've covered today, but across Windows 10, across all the platforms, all the devices, and all the products. So 4 critical questions. How can we design a workplace where every working style can thrive? How can we empower the mobility of our teams and workforce? How can we harness digital intelligence to improve the human working experience? How can we best secure our organization's people and information? Now, if you're part of the leadership team, a manager, a CIO in here, or even just someone that's very involved in the business decision-making process, These 4 questions you probably hear get asked all the time, and they're reoccurring questions, right? You always want to know how to be more productive, how to be more collaborative, how to be more secure. So these aren't just going to go away when you solve it once. One Microsoft feature that's released in Office 365 isn't going to solve this question long term, right? There's going to be new things, new ways to be productive, and that's what we're focusing on with Office 365 as an evergreen service, is not only are we going to provide features to answer these questions, when you keep asking these questions, we're going to keep providing features to answer them and help better assist you. So we'll go ahead. This is just a quick why Facebook is betting on Office 365. It is a little bit, we'll go ahead and skip ahead here because we got about 10 minutes, but it talks about how everything is about collaboration and all that, so I think we can skip that slide for now. So how do you get these latest set of Office capabilities? We talked a little bit about having Office 365 and Office 365 Pro Plus, and that's where it starts. So we talked about authoring. You see that in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and OneNote. Your mail and social is traditional. You have Outlook, Exchange, and everyone's favorite client of Yammer. We also have sites and content management, so you have your OneDrive, your SharePoint, and your Delve, way to be collaborative, way to share things out. Chat, meetings, and voice, you have Skype. Analytics, you have Power BI and your Delve Analytics. And you look at what's most important is secure and compliant. You want it to be manageable, extensible, and you want it to always be up to date. Now, specifically, this is just the Office 365 general umbrella. We get more specifically into Office 365 Pro Plus, which is the Office version that's released with Office 365. It runs on Click to Run, which if you're not familiar with what Click to Run is, Brian and Chris delivered a great session on how to deploy it the right way, some things to look out for, as well as our preferred practices on it. But this is more about productivity features, so that's what we'll focus on. So these are the specific parts of Office 365 Pro Plus that gets addressed. So your authoring is still the same: Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, desktop applications. Mail and social is your Outlook application. Sites and content management, OneDrive for Business Sync Client, which is the next-gen sync client that's out there. We might have some people out here using it. Chat, meetings, and voice, Skype for Business, so being able to hold conferences, what we talked about, having meetings where you could post documents in it and being able to real-time collaborate. Analytics, Excel, which is everyone's favorite tool to use for business analytics there. And this is one of my favorite slides, especially being an Office 365 Pro Plus guy. You look at, we get into customer sites all the time, and they're on Office 2010, Office 2007. They're wondering, what's the value of going to Office 365 Pro Plus? Why should I move to this new client? My workforce is working great. We're making money within our company. Everyone's happy. What if you can continue those, but continue providing your workforce with better features? More productive features to be more efficient, to make more money, to make them happier. So when they go home at the end of the day, they think, wow, I really accomplished a lot, and I was able to get it done efficiently and effectively. So you look at kind of the transition to Office 365 Pro Plus, and the real one I want to focus in is this Office 2016 Professional Plus, which is MSI, versus Office 365 Pro Plus, which is it includes the 2016 application suites, but it's part of Office 365. Look at the feature differences here. Look how they've slowly grown, and look at the small increase when you get to Office 2016 Professional Plus. Look at the increase with Office 365 Pro Plus. And this just isn't one of those unfairly representative graphs. This is real. We talked about the features getting released in Office 365 Pro Plus first, and maybe not ever making it to Professional Plus. And the really big one that you don't see in these other ones is mobility features. And that's what we want to talk about when we talk about being able to work on the go, access your data on the go. You might be on vacation, you don't want to get bothered, but think about it. If you're able to access a document and send it to the person that you need, you're going to be able to have a carefree vacation and not have to worry about, did Doug get that document that he needs? You're able to just log onto your phone real quick, go to your SharePoint site or your OneDrive, send over that file, and you can go back to having your good vacation. So the bet really is within Office 365 Pro Plus, you're going to find these productivity features there, these collaboration features and all that. So if you're looking and you're considering what to move to as an organization, there's a lot of great resources. You can work with your account team on what some of the Office 365 Pro Plus deployments or methodologies kind of look like. You can come up and talk to myself, Brian, or Chris afterwards. But it really is the application set of the future. It enables Office as a service, which allows you to keep adopting these new features, these new productivity, collaboration, intelligence enhancements, and how to encourage and implicate your workforce to work smarter and not harder. This is my second favorite slide because it shows these two guys up here have really been working hard, because we talk about all the features that have been released as part of Office 365 Pro Plus. So the 2016 suite application of Office 365 Pro Plus was released in the fall of 2015. and you see PowerPoint Designer, PowerPoint Morph, iPad Pro support. I'm not going to go read through all these, but you can see each month and kind of each quarter, we're delivering on these promises. We're actually releasing features out there, tangible, well, I can't say tangible, but things that you can actually see and play around with, features that are coming out there, not just saying, oh, we improved a bug enhancement. Oh, your Excel should work a little bit faster. You're seeing features and functionalities get released into the products and applications that you can physically see a difference in. So you look at things like PowerPoint Designer updates. So we're not just releasing features, we're continuing to improve on them as we release them. We get that feedback that, okay, Designer is pretty cool, but sometimes it doesn't really work that great because it will zoom in really close on someone's face, and that's kind of awkward. Well, we change that. So we work and we fiddle with it. We work with the code. Engineering works with it. And we're able to kind of fine-tune those things to better assist you in the field and as IT pros and how to eliminate these issues. So then we look at, towards the end here, you get PowerPoint Zoom, Outlook at the focused inbox and mentions. Another cool thing is, which I really like to use, is every time I get an email from Amazon, it includes a shipping and tracking number. It'll actually add that to my calendar and say that, okay, on Tuesday, you're actually getting a package delivered. So I could double-click that thing on my calendar, the short invite, or excuse me, appointment on my calendar, and it will have all the Amazon tracking info in there, including the shipping number, the order number, and all that. So we'll go on to this next slide just to see that we're still releasing features. This is only going as to fall of 2016 here. But again, it's not like these are declining off, not that we're fully scaled and deployed out there. We have everyone on Office Pro Plus. These features are still being driven because it's part of the Office 365 Evergreen service, where we're going to continue to provide updates, new features and functionalities, tweak existing features and functionalities, all to improve to make you the most productive workforce that you could possibly be. So we have some coming soon, and actually most of these features are out because you see we actually talked about inking, some of the mobility and collaboration. I just delivered a session that we actually played with maps in Excel, and that's out there now as well. So there's things that are always going to be coming out. You can, if you're an IT pro and you want to be aware of what these features are, there's some great blogs as far as when Pro Plus builds are released. You can see what features are included in them, and then you're able to communicate to your end users when to expect them, how to use them, etc. So we got about 3 minutes left, so I'll cover this real quick. I'm not going to read through all 10 of these because you can do it yourself. But just the top things that you can do with Office 365 Pro Plus, and you see, improved security and compliance, search email up to 66% faster, which is huge. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there, or if you're an IT pro, you have plenty of people that you manage that might have an inbox that is filled with junk. Searching and indexing can be extremely slow. We see improvements there. 66% faster is a huge time saver when you're able to, you're working on the go. You need to be able to search and see, okay, what was that email that Brian sent me? I'm going to do a quick search. Instead of having to go and take 5 minutes to look for it, you're able to get it pretty quickly. Eliminate version of control issues in documents with co-authoring, activity feeds. So one of the part of co-authoring is you actually see if you have people editing it at the same time, or if it's a cloud shared document, you see an activity feed of when someone makes a change. So if I'm working on a document and I'm trying to write a paragraph and have a nice little picture next to it, Brian tries to go in there secretly and delete that picture because he thinks it looks terrible. I'm going to see that Brian went in there and deleted it, and I can revert those changes. I could also take a look at one of his documents that he's working on. That's if I share a document with them, I can compare the two versions, and I can merge the two versions. So that's something we didn't cover here, but it is a feature of co-authoring, is you're able to collaborate and actually merge and compare the two versions when you have different edits when they fork off. So even if you do fork, you're able to merge them back together. Last one here, the last two. So we have streamline your Office deployments with a single up-to-date package, leveraging the click-to-run technology, which is Office 365 Pro Plus. So you're actually able to go out to the cloud if you choose so, or host on premises. So that's just going to be up to you as an organization. That's outside of the scope of this session. But the last one is get deployment guidance from skilled engineers through Microsoft Fast Track services, and also what's called the Office 365 Pro Plus Lighthouse program. So if you are interested in deploying Office 365 Pro Plus, or even just getting more information about it, like I mentioned, you can follow up with myself, Brian, and Chris here. There's some resources through your account team that you can go through. But it's where the future of businesses are headed. We see plenty of organizations every day that are picking up Office 365, implementing it, deploying it out, and they're seeing massive returns on their investment and being able to have their productivity force be more collaborative, more mobile, more efficient. So we have, time technically did end. Sorry, I only left 30 seconds, but I will take a couple questions afterwards. So are there any questions still? All right, well, if you do have something that you don't want to ask in front of everyone, you can go ahead and come up here and ask me afterwards. But thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your Friday on this rainy day, and I hope you have a great weekend.